With its realistic graphics and open-world gameplay, InZOI is seen by some, including the main developer, as major competition to the Sims franchise. Now, in a new interview, we learn about the real reason why InZOI was created. So obviously this is a very short, the full interview is actually behind a paywall, which is really annoying, but I do think this is really telling in terms of the overall concepts that are coming to InZOI. And I know I will get some comments and say, see, this proves that InZOI will kill the Sims. I have said many times that if the Sims dies, it is going to be by the Sims' own hands. Now moving on to this interview. In his over 2 decades of work experience, the 50-year-old developer has mainly focused on MMOs. He shared that he actually got tired of this genre and decided to make something completely different. I honestly got sick of it. The developer also said his previous games were overly competitive and he decided to turn into something relaxing. And according to the developer, over-focusing on just one genre of game could prevent overall growth. Obviously, there are some games that do kind of breach 2 different genres, and there's nothing inherently wrong with this, but I do like this pivot and focus. It seems he wanted a new creative challenge, and he also has some concerns and critiques of MMOs. He particularly was perturbed by the darker emotions these competitive games draw out of players, necessitating the development of a really strict system to prevent players from abusing each other. This is a concern when you have massive multiplayer games. Again, I'm not saying these massive multiplayer games should disappear or that they're going to, but it does give some insight into what the developer values and why they actually turned away from that genre. It also turns out that the developer is a longtime player of The Sims, and along with these 15 years of gameplay, there were critiques that he thinks really need to be addressed. I've created custom content and I've also created mods too, he said. I love it, but I still have complaints about it. So although Kim did actually play Sims for 15 years and even created custom content for the game, which is kind of cool, he was looking at the game and thought, you know, I think there's areas I could improve. What's also really cool about this is there's a deeper personal connection. He actually used to play The Sims with his son, and his son inspired him to make his own take, and it occurred to me there are no other games that are like Sims in the world, so I created this game. Now obviously there are simulation games and have been for quite some time, but in terms of a direct competitor to The Sims, he saw The Sims had a monopoly on this kind of genre for such a long time. And while it's clear to me that he does have some love for the Sims franchise, he wanted a chance to have its own take on it. And honestly, I see absolutely nothing wrong with that. It has to have somewhat of its own identity. After all, it is not a carbon copy of The Sims. While there are definitely intersections, there are some pretty dramatic differences too. Now, we do know that there is a 120-person team for this project. Nonetheless, it will be interesting to see how these games compare going forward. They're very different in so many ways, and personally, I think they're going for different target audiences. In my opinion, InZOI is going for a much older audience than the Sims franchise. But let me know what you think about this in the comments below. As always, please take care, and I'll see you in the next one.